All right, Serena, welcome to Beef Bootlegger Chophouse.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
We're at Meatstock 2026. What brings you here?
Well, I sell lotions made out of beef fat, which I know sounds weird, but it's not. And I'm a carnivore.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So I know we pre-planned this a little bit, but what did you bring me right here?
So what I brought for you is our unscented overnight mask, and this isn't just beef tallow. A lot of other companies use beef tallow. And then they add olive oil, jojoba oil, coconut oil to theirs, and we set out intentionally to be an animal-based products.
All the way?
Company. Yep. So this is our unscented overnight mask, and
Love
this
it.
has beef tallow, emu oil, and wild camel hump fat in it.
Wow. So tell me about emu oil and tell me about camel hump fat, because I've never heard of either one of those.
Well, as animal fats, they all have basically the same vitamins and nutrients in it. They all have collagen in it. And a lot of times all these big companies, they're putting collagen in their products and they're saying, hey, our lotion now has collagen in it, but this has collagen on its own from the animal fats.
That's right.
So they have vitamins A, B, D, and K in them. They go on really smooth. They don't leave you greasy at all. All of those animal fats are like replacing your own dead skin cells with new skin cells. And so fine lines, wrinkles, things like that, it works very well for those things.
Well, I love this, and the reason why I asked, I actually get eczema, and in the cold climate, I flare up, and I wanted to try. You tell me if I need to rub it a little bit more.
You do need to rub it a little bit more.
All right, so hold on. I got my camera guy over here, Fitzy. Let me trade you. Okay, so I'm loving it, and I know it's not nighttime, but I love me some tallow on my face. And so what would be the primary benefits of using tallow versus a more traditional face product? How do I look, by the way?
It looks good. You got it.
Nice.
So store-bought lotions are really just toxic minefields for people. And the average woman is exposed to more than 100 toxins before she even eats breakfast.
Wow.
That's a fact. That's a scientific
And that's for
fact.
makeup and all of that type of stuff she's putting on in the day?
Absolutely. Gels, soaps that we use in the shower, our shampoos and conditioner, our lotions, our makeup, everything for women. Men use lotion and things too, but it's toxic. And that is adding to your toxic load. Our toxic load is huge, and I feel like anywhere we can reduce that toxic load is going to make a huge difference for your health. It's kind of like, the way I look at it is, so you have a bucket of histamines and toxins and all of that, and then the foods that we eat that are so bad for us, the processed foods, the chemicals, all of that bucket starts to overflow. And when that bucket overflows, you have an autoimmune flare-up, or you gain weight for no reason, or your skin flares up and you get acne, eczema, psoriasis, and things like that. And so if we can reduce our toxins a little bit and take that bucket down to where it's not overflowing, we start to feel better.
Yeah.
And one of the main ways a woman can do that is by replacing all of her toxic get ready products with something that's more natural. And so the beef tallow as lotion can make a huge difference. The other thing is, I haven't washed my hair in more than 3 years. I use vinegar once a week. I rinse it a couple of the other days, just freshen it up other days. But think about the toxins in your shampoo and conditioner. They're going into your brain, basically.
Right.
And it's the same way with lotions on our skin. You put something
skin's
on,
your biggest organ, right? So
it is. And anything you put on it is absorbed and goes into your bloodstream within 30 seconds. So that's definitely something that we should think about as a society, how much of the toxins in our products is partially what's causing us to be sick. I mean, it's obviously the food too. Yeah. But I really believe that a huge portion of
it's everywhere. We're really being assaulted. So anything that we're going to use as a consumer is basically, slow poisoning, making us have some type of ailment. They can sell us some drugs, give us more problems, sell us some more drugs.
Exactly right. We're being assaulted from every angle, and our children are too.
Yeah.
So our children see us eating better, and our children see us not using toxic products anymore, and that makes a difference for the next generation. At our house, we don't even keep a medicine cabinet. We've used essential oils for our medical care for years. So my kids don't run to the medicine cabinet because they have a headache. I don't run to the medicine cabinet because I have a headache. If I have a headache, am I dehydrated? Do I need to exercise? Did I not sleep well last night? I don't need Tylenol because I have a headache. I just have a headache.
Well, I've also found eating well and some of these other things almost make a lot of those ailments go away.
Absolutely.
So when you're doing bad things, maybe it's subconscious or not, but you find problems. I'm sore, I have a headache, I have all of these ailments, and when you just improve yourself from the food and the products that we use, a lot of that stuff just disappears.
Yeah, totally. and it's very rare that I have a headache. I do right now because I'm dehydrated. And
Yeah.
I know, and
We're also under a lot of light, and we're under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
We're working hard.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know that's the reason. And rather than taking a medication for it, I'll fix it and I'll go drink some water. And I think that's the key so many people are missing, not just the headache factor, but so many of our sicknesses. If you have an autoimmune disease, if you have colitis, if you have like any of the autoimmune diseases that you've been diagnosed with, if you're still eating processed foods and you're still using toxic products, that's probably your problem.
Well, I can tell you right now, that little eczema thing that we addressed earlier. So for probably 20 years, now I didn't have it so much in California. In Texas, I would get it, and it's right here where everyone can see it. And I was prescribed some type of medication. I forget, it was a cream, 2%, whatever.
Yeah, like a
but I would
steroid or
do it,
something.
and it still wouldn't go away. And it would be one of those topical things I put on every day. And then, the seasons would change, it would go away.
Yeah.
But when I use tallow, it does go away. I mean, it might be there or whatever, but again, we're in a pretty harsh climate.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like my face is absorbing the tallow much better. Like I put it on and it goes away. It's not still there, and I can tell my body is just bringing all of that nutrition into itself. So can you speak to that a little bit about just your body or your face or body butter or whatever, your body absorbing the product?
Yeah, so the lipid profile of the beef tallow, the emu oil, and the camel hump fat that's in that jar are almost identical to our skin, the fats in our skin. And so when you put that on, your body knows how to use it because it's the same thing. But so many people want to use either products created in a factory or products from a plant. And your skin, just like your stomach, like just like your body doesn't absorb all of the nutrients from plants, it doesn't absorb the nutrients from the products that you're putting on it, but what it does absorb is the toxins. And so that's, I think people just don't think about the products that you're using.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Well, plants are full of toxins. Most poisons come from plants, right? So that's really interesting. But yeah, that being a very foreign substance versus an animal-based product.
Yeah, and it does make a big difference. Like you said, if you put like a beef fat product on your skin, it's not just like sitting on top. It might feel like it's better, and you might not be able to see it in the mirror for the next 3 or 4 hours, but it's just sitting on top of your skin. It's not being absorbed by your skin, and it's certainly not healing your skin. And so I think that's something that, like I said, most women and men and for your kids, think about the things that you're putting on your kids. We actually just released a baby line last week.
Love that.
And we're using Lanolin in it, which anybody who has just had a baby or ever had a baby, most women know what Lanolin is because they give that to you at the hospital. What is it? Lanolin, I don't think people really know what it is, but they know of Lanolin.
Okay.
So it comes from sheep's wool, so it's still an animal product. And when they shave the sheep, they get this oil out of it. So it's liquid at room. It's an animal fat, but it's liquid at room temperature, just like emu oil is. And so you can use that for a baby with eczema. I mean, it's good for adults too. I love it on my feet. A lot of times, your heels get cracked. People have dry spots on their elbows or their knees. This works incredible for that.
So is that something new? That's the first time I've heard of that. I grew up in Australia. It's a long time ago, but I remember shearing the sheep, and I remember it being oily. So now people are finding a good product use?
Well, my first baby was born 25 years ago, and they gave me a tube of Lanolin for breastfeeding. So it is something that's known, and it's good for healing and moisturizing, and it's safe for a baby to eat, when they're nursing if the mother has applied it. But it's not out there.
Keep going.
Sorry.
Fitzy.
Sorry. I can tighten it, I think.
Oh, that's all good.
Yeah, sorry. So it's not out there as a moisturizer, though. And so that's something that we wanted to harness. My daughter had a baby, and she had terrible eczema. And so we started experimenting, like, what's going to fix this? And everybody was telling her to put baby oil in her baby's bath. And she said, I don't want to use mineral oil and fragrance in her bath. She's brand new. I don't want to put that and have her body absorb that. So we started using Lanolin and experimenting with it as an actual lotion instead of a spot treatment for certain things. And she's been using it in the baby's bath for a couple of months, and it's just amazing. A couple of pumps, and it just coats the baby. Oil and water don't mix, so it sits on top. And as she puts the baby in the baby's skin, she can rub it all over the baby's skin, and it makes the baby's
Where
skin super
are you
soft.
getting that right now?
We're just sourcing it from a place that sells products for a lotion.
But you would think about maybe putting this into a product and turning it into a line?
We are. That's what I'm saying. We just did a baby line last week. We have a lanolin baby oil and an unscented and a scented, and then we also have a lanolin baby balm with beef tallow, lanolin, and just a little bit of beeswax for texture.
Yeah, okay.
So you can rub that. You can use it as a natural diaper rash ointment. You rub it on, and the lanolin and the beef tallow are going to soften the skin, and then the beeswax locks it in.
There we go.
It's very cool.
Perfect combo.
Yeah, very.
So tell me your whole product line. So we've got face, we got the baby. Do we have an overall kind of body butter type thing going on?
We do. So we have a lotion in a pump jar that I would just equate it to this because people understand what this texture is like. It looks like a vino when you pump it out of the pump, and it makes the streak in your. It looks like a vino, but it's made with just beef tallow and emu oil. So.
Do you have to use a different ratio or maybe a different kind of tallow to have that lighter texture?
We use our regular tallow, but then in order to make it pumpable, we add the emu oil to it, which is much more expensive than using water like some other companies do. Mm-hmm. But water can actually dry out your skin, so we chose not to use water at all. And if you use water, obviously, because the tallow doesn't mix with water, you have to use emulsifiers, stabilizers, preservatives, because if your tallow has water in it, it'll mold. So they add all these other products, all these other things, and they might be natural emulsifiers and stabilizers and preservatives, but we want our products to be as few ingredients as possible. Mm-hmm. And so, for instance, we have a soap coming out next month, a bar of soap. And it'll be Saponified beef tallow, which is beef tallow treated with lye, which is what makes it soap, but the lye is eaten up in the curing process, and water. So it's basically just tallow and water made into soap. Mm-hmm. And then when we do the scents on that, we're going to do them the same way we do our whipped tallow lotions. We're not going to add colors to it. There are some natural colors we could add, but it's really important to us to use minimal ingredients in everything we use.
Fantastic.
So we're not going to add, a lot of people add charcoal to their soaps. Like people add, I can't even think of some of the other things people add, obviously like coconut oil and jojoba oil and things like that, but we're not going to do any of that. We just want our stuff to be as minimal ingredient as possible. So even the scented ones are just going to be those two original ingredients plus some essential oils for the scent.
And it's always 100% animal-based?
Well, except for the essential oils, because those are plant-based. But the unscented version of all of our products is exclusively animal-based, and that's on purpose. And then the only one that's not would be our facial oil cleanser that has just a little bit of castor oil in it. Okay. And you just kind of rub that on and wipe it off. But so the unscented version of every one of our products is exclusively animal-based except for the one. And we feel like that's important. Right.
Well, that's a nice segue. So you're also here because of your carnivore journey. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So when I started Carnivore, it was because I had a weird post-sickness issue. I won't mention the sickness.
How long ago was this?
Several years ago.
Okay.
Almost 5 years ago, probably. And it left me with a smell and taste issue called Perosmia. And that's where things tasted and smelled like a skunk. It was like a skunk was following me around for almost 2 years.
Wow.
It was horrible. Life-altering. I had to leave people's houses because the smells would make me nauseous. I didn't know what some things were. I would be like, everything smelled like a skunk.
Now, is it because, so existing stuff was just coming through to your senses like a skunk?
Yes. It's like, I heard it described one time as if you have like the big fiber optics and somebody cut it in half and then rewired them and connected them to the wrong ones is what was happening in my brain. It happens to some chemotherapy patients too. It just messes up your taste and smell. And so I was struggling with this for a long time. My husband actually came home from work one day and found me outside in our camper crying because my daughter was making eggs and I couldn't be in the house.
Oh,
that was even
goodness.
after I became a carnivore. But I had read about healing and I had done a 5-day water fast and that fixed it. But 2 days after I started eating again, it came back. So I knew there was some sort of healing that I knew I could fix it. I just didn't know how. I had tried a juice fast and that didn't work. Like I was trying all kinds of things to try to fix it. And nothing was working. And I was in some Facebook groups for people with this disorder there were people who had gained 100 pounds because all they could eat was sugar, and that's where I was. I was slowly gaining weight. I was eating like exclusively baked goods. Things with sugar and flour were the only things that tasted good to me. So I was eating a lot of that. I was
Did you ever figure out why sugar was kind of...
I don't know. I don't know.
It's interesting.
I know it was like animal fats didn't taste good, really. Meat, the only thing I could really eat, I was crying every day because I was trying things every day and being disappointed. The only thing I could really eat was a ribeye fresh off the grill and a New York strip fresh off the grill.
Interesting, okay.
And they couldn't even be reheated. There was some sort of weird chemical reaction, so I had to cook every day.
Had to be fresh, yeah.
Just
okay,
like
ready
a New York
to go.
strip a ribeye and maybe a hamburger. Like those were the only things, but it had to be fresh. There were just a few things that I could eat. And I was just really sad. I was depressed and it was killing me. And I was gaining weight. I felt miserable. I was inflamed. It was just awful. And so I had read about, since I knew fasting worked for people, I knew because it worked for me, I started just kind of experimenting with myself. I didn't want to fast all the time. Like, that's hard, right? I'd have to be in a fasted state all the time for that to have worked. Because as soon as I went back to eating, it came back. And so I was just feeling really bad. And I knew I could eat those few things. And I was so depressed, I said, I'm just going to eat those things. I mean, I don't know what'll happen to me, but I'm just going to eat those things.
Well, I was thinking, as you said that, if I was the evil Joker, whatever that was, I should put that in the water supply so everyone can only eat ribeye and New York strip, and then I'd be an evil billionaire genius.
Yeah, you'd have to give everybody cancer and get them on chemotherapy, which, that...
Well, they're already doing that. Yeah, it's taken. That
it's
spot's taken.
Yeah, right, exactly. The pharmaceutical companies and the processed food companies already have that going on for them. But I knew that those were the only things I could eat, and I was sick of trying things every day and being disappointed and sad and crying every day. So I said, I'm just going to eat these things.
And that's where you are still, years later?
I eat more than that now. It started to get better. I started that, and about 3 days later, I thought, am I going to die from just eating meat? And so I Googled it, and that's when I found Mikhaila Peterson's TED Talk that didn't get posted. That's when I found Shawn Baker on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's when I found Kelly Hogan. Like, that's when I started finding people that were doing this, and I thought it was insane. I thought Kelly Hogan was a lunatic, that she only ate, basically animal products, and I was shocked. But at that point, I was 3 days in, and I was feeling a little better. But I also had eating disorders and disordered eating for years. And so eventually, my Perosmia started to get better. And it was about 6 months into honing in on this that I realized that I was better, and I wasn't obsessing about food anymore, that mentally it had changed me.
That's the huge thing,
I wasn't on a diet anymore. I wasn't binging. I wasn't starving myself after a binge as a punishment to lose the weight I gained or, whatever, that all of those thoughts were gone. So it was 6 months in before I realized that. And I was really surprised by it, that I was better.
Yeah, well, obviously weight loss and all of these type of things are obvious, but I think the mindset is actually one of the biggest benefits. And then also, helping people, maybe even curing depression, some of these other things as well.
Yeah, most people don't go into a diet change for health reasons. They do it for weight loss. And that's the difference, is that I started for weight loss, and obviously I knew about fasting mimicking, and I thought that carnivore would help with that, but I never expected the part that I got, in my head, that it made me better.
So ribeyes and New York strips, still your main jam, and how long is that? Oh, that's not?
No, I do lots of chicken wings, lots of eggs now.
Oh, you mix, okay, so you're eating all kinds of stuff.
Basically.
Yeah.
Eat very, very few things that aren't animals. Almost.
So when did your ability to eat eggs and chicken and some of these other things come back?
It happened kind of gradually, because it was at a point where I couldn't eat chicken hardly at all.
Well, you're saying that your daughter cooking eggs had you out back.
Yeah. It had gotten to where there were like I said, very few things I could eat. And so gradually I would start just trying something. I would smell it. When my husband, coffee was kind of the thing for me that let me know whether or not my smell was better.
Interesting.
And still a really strong, long roasted coffee makes me feel a little bit sick. Peanut butter, if I smell it, makes me a little bit sick to my stomach. So there were still a few things.
Yeah.
And I'll probably have that forever. But that's okay. I just don't eat those things. Coffee doesn't really do it anymore. I can have decaf.
It sounds like also you can manage, right? So now you can go visit someone's house or something like that, and
it's mostly better. Every now and then something happens, and I say to somebody, "What is that?" And they'll tell me what it smells like, what it is, and I'll just be like, "That is not what it smells like to me." But it's mostly better. I would say 98% better if I had to guess. And would it have gotten better without carnivore? I don't know. But being carnivore definitely made it easier for me, because I wasn't trying all of these things and then being sad.
Well, I think also, right, when we can get comfortable with what's going on, it lets you maybe be more courageous.
Yes.
And then being able to do that, you get more confidence. You lay in a foundation, right? Because that mind-body connection is massive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well, it's been a beautiful talk. So if we wanted to get your skincare product, where do we find maybe your website, and then where can we find you on your socials?
So purelytallow.com is where we have our lotions, and we have sales on there all the time, and we're adding new products pretty regularly at this point. And it's just me and my family too, so that's another kind of perk to it, is I get to work full time with my grown-up kids. It's pretty cool. My daughter brings our grandbaby to work every time she comes.
Love that.
And it's amazing. Literally a dream come true. And then you can find me on YouTube at Carnivore Revolution, and you can find me on Instagram at serena.carnivore.
I love it, Serena. What a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Boom.
Except I have to hit
Okay.
the microphone. Natalie, don't
He'll
talk
cut
with your
that out.
hands. You'll mess up the microphone.
Ah.
Come on.
Oh, we're hugging it.
Posing together.
Posing.
Whatever you prefer. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Beef.
Beautiful. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for my face cream.